Hey everybody, welcome to the Morphin Grid. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And today we're watching episode 542, Power Rangers SPD, episode 2, nope, 8, Sam Part 2. A lot of 2s going on.
It aired March 19th, 2005, written by John Telligan, directed by Charlie Haskell. Is this John Telligan's first time writing this season? No, he wrote Walls, which is episode 4, I guess.
It is. That's true.
Yeah, it's just I've already forgotten. I edited the second episode like the other day, and that is the last one that went up, which if you'll recall is the one at the end where we couldn't figure out.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so
I've seen.
Here's a problem is that I didn't realize that number one, when we said please someone tell us that I didn't think we were gonna figure it out literally 5 seconds after we stopped recording. We hit stop and I was like, oh, it's Indiana Jones. The other part of this is that was at least 3 weeks ago, and no one's gonna hear this for 3 weeks.
You know what's crazy is that with this episode we're finishing disc 1, right?
Yeah.
Only one episode is up so far.
Yeah, episode 2 goes up tomorrow. So we're the farthest ahead I think we've ever been.
We're a quarter of the way through this thing.
Is there only 4 discs?
I think so.
I have it right here.
I don't know. Mine's in the living room.
There are 5 discs. We are a fifth of the way. We will be
20%.
20%. But yeah, so now I feel like for the next 3 weeks or so, people are going to be telling us it's Indiana Jones, and I have no way to stop everyone at once from doing that. So,
well, I replied to one person, and that's all you get.
I told people on the Discord. I was like, yeah, we figured it out. I don't know how.
I still think it should be the A-Team.
It's not though. It's you looked up the A-Team on that episode and it wasn't that. And I don't even at this point I couldn't tell you what A-Team sounds like.
It's
even
not memorable. It sounds like Dollar Store Indiana Jones.
Well, maybe that's what tricked us then. Anyway, if you're new here, what we do is we pause the recording, we go watch an episode of Power Rangers, we come back, we talk about it. You can follow along if you have Netflix or the DVDs. I keep saying Netflix. You can only watch Dino Fury on Netflix.
Or Mighty Morphin, I think.
And Mighty Morphin, and maybe still Beef Morpher, I think.
Maybe.
And it's probably only Mighty Morphin Season 1, so you get all your favorites. You get Pudgy Pig, you get Pumpkin Wrapper, you get the Big Chicken, who tries to steal a child, you get Pineoctopus, you get the Oysterizer, the Season 1 finale. What else do you get? Who's to say? I was trying to remember some episodes, and I don't think I can remember a lot of them.
The Black Knight.
Black Knight. That was Happy Birthday, Zach, I believe.
Madam Woe.
Madam Woe. Okay, yeah, there was a lot of good episodes.
Bones? Come on.
Bones is Season 2. Bones is not as good of an episode as everyone.
No, Bones is like...
Bones is episode 2.
One of the first...
I meant to say episode 2. I said Season 2. Yeah.
You said Season 2, and I was like, that is very wrong.
No. Bones is episode 2. And the Mighty Minotaur is episode 3. So I guess I remember more of it. I know. Paluticorn. Anyway, I'll stop before I just name every single Power Rangers episode in order. Doomsday.
Yeah.
Is also there. But then it does end just with the Oysterizer. And then it's like, this is just a regular episode of Power Rangers. Some guy tries to sell Zach stolen earrings or whatever, and then that turns into freezing people in stone? Like how oysters...
The Zord fight is underwater, and that's pretty rad.
Zord fight was underwater. That's pretty dope. Anyway, see you next time on Power... Oh, wait, no, you won't. If you have Netflix, screw you, I guess, Power Ranger fans.
That's how it ends. They finally beat the Oysterizer. The menace is defeated.
Finally. Now we can go do Beef Morphers.
And now they can make all the parade floats they want with no consequences.
Beef Morpher has a... Finally. Their parade float dreams. Beast Morphers has... a lot of
toxic waste dump.
It's just cleaning up the toxic waste puddles at the dumps. Beast Morpher has like at least one crossover episode that has like several generations of Power Rangers that you cannot find or look at on Netflix where you're watching Beast Morphers.
Fun.
It's just such a weird situation that is. Anyway, do you want to go watch Sam Part 2?
Yeah, sure.
SPD Emergency!
SPD Emergency!
And we're back, and we just watched Sam Part 2. Another episode that definitely felt like it was done at least one time before it did finish. I definitely wrote down at about the 13-minute mark when I went, we're about done with this episode, huh? I feel like we did a whole episode. And then it was
10 minutes remaining.
I was like, no, you still got a long time. It didn't feel like the last one where it like felt like
it
long,
it wasn't
long
a marathon.
One. Yeah. It's just, I just got tricked real bad. HeyJakeandJosh.com. That's the website. You can go there, listen to old episodes up through Time Force, including the Bobos, such as, I try to name a Bobo every time, but I think I don't remember most of them. The draft, I think the draft, the Power Rangers draft was a Time Force.
I think so.
Bobo, so that is up there. We had Alan and Shannon and David on. We drafted Power Ranger teams, and I want to do one of those again.
I want to pull it up.
I have different rules that I think would be fun. The problem is that now we record at 11 a.m. in the morning, which is
Eastern
where the AM's
time,
usually
which is
Eastern
only
time.
earlier the farther west you go.
Yeah, but the thing is that usually normal people, not us, have jobs that take place at 11 a.m. usually. So wrangling that is a little tricky, but I would like to do another draft maybe this year.
In the second seasonal Morphe Awards photo.
Yes.
Who is it holding these Grammys?
Is that Taylor Swift? Is it yellow?
Oh, yes, I believe it is Taylor Swift. Yeah, I photoshopped the hair out of that one. So
Yeah,
I think that
you
might
went-
actually be my most ambitious.
Yeah. And then let's see. Number 3 was that Pitbull with
Number 3 is Pitbull, the Black Ranger.
Pitbull
yes.
with the Black Ranger, and then 4 is Owen Hart with
4 is Owen Hart.
with the red
Zeo Red, yeah.
Zeo Red.
With this Intercontinental title and 2 Slammies.
So I would like to go back and like fill in episode pictures and like get episode pictures for all the ones that I missed, because I took from Turbo to Ninja Storm off. Oops. But you would have to make the Morphe's pictures, because I don't do those ones. I just add the seasonals, however many seasonal
starting
Morphes.
with 5th seasonal Morphe Awards, which would be Turbo.
So that's
So
gotta
it'd have
be
to be like Jeff Gordon.
I think it would be Justin on Aaron Carter winning a Kids' Choice Award.
Oh, I
From,
don't
like,
know. Aaron
1996.
Carter's in like a weird space now.
Okay, then some other kid winning a Kids' Choice Award.
Okay.
From
I
the
went to
90s.
Cars. You went to Kids.
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon is like a short guy. So
He had a baby face for a while. Yeah, that's for
could
sure.
slap a blue helmet on him.
Yeah. He won a lot of championships too. Him holding up the cup. Yeah, we could make that happen.
I'll look at the rest of these later. But yes, the Morphing Grid 2019 draft is a bonus episode you can listen to on HeyJakeandJosh.com.
Was that only 2019? Wow, that seemed like it was much longer ago.
Seems
huh?
like it was 6 years ago.
Seems so long. So anyway, you can listen to that. You can listen to all the bonuses up through the Time Force bonuses.
Maybe even up through the Wild Force ones soon if I ever use my free time to do anything besides botch a ROM hack.
Yeah, have that. I heard you. I heard that kind of ate itself.
Yeah, I burned it down. Started
The whole
over.
thing. The whole thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't know what I messed up.
Yeah, you can't just undo until it's fine again.
No.
That seems like an oversight on whoever made ROM hacking.
Well, it's just you're just editing like text files basically on your computer. It's my fault for not creating backups as I went along. But
well, I hope you
also,
learned a lesson.
I did. I have a backup each time I make a change. I back up the whole thing. But it is giving me the opportunity to make sure all the coding is a lot cleaner, because before I was like just jumping all over the place trying to see what I could do and like learn stuff. And now that I won't say I know what I'm doing, but like I kind of have the gist of the basic stuff.
Right.
So I can do it a lot tidier.
Nice.
So that's good. I already got all the wild Pokemon changed, and I got all the gym leader rematches back. So those are the 2 longest things I've done so far. So those are already back in action.
Nice. So people can still go play version 1.2 or version 2.
2.1 is the
2.1.
last. Yeah, I'm probably not going to upload anymore until I finish it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that one works. I think that one's fine. I think it was when I was trying to do stuff after that I messed it up, so that like when you win a battle, when the trainer like pops in and is like, "Oh man, you beat me," it just displays nothing. And I don't know what I did, because all the text is there and should be working because I didn't touch it. So
This is why I don't fuck around with code. Because I don't know anything. Anyway, so go to the website, I guess. Is what
Yeah,
we're
check out the
saying.
website. Is what we're trying to
There's
say.
no ad. Should we put an ad up on there? Maybe get some money, get some passive money from
I don't
ad.
know how we would do that.
Can you just say, "Hey Google, can I do Google ad on the side unobtrusively?" Or
Maybe I think I'd have to like make a box for it to appear in,
no? Well, that's
and I don't.
Who
that
knows
would
how to
throw
do
the
that.
alignment off of this whole
You're
thing.
right. It's a carefully
I have
curated website.
I have it center aligned.
Anyway, so there you ad free. Another bonus you get from us.
I could make a banner underneath the like top part. And
Okay,
that would bump the list down, but it wouldn't like break anything. I'll look into it.
let's see. Get some passive ad money.
Yeah, give us 10 cents a month, Nintendo. Remember?
Yeah, Nintendo. Remember when you used to do that for us? What happened? Then we stopped making videos and people stopped watching them. Is what happened.
Yeah.
But I like that 10 cents a month.
This is good. I was on Nintendo's payroll. That's on my
Right.
resume. I put that
Yeah.
on there.
Nintendo gave me money. You can email us at littleidiots.morphingrid@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at morphingrid. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. The Apple Podcast player, though, apparently, as we talked about right before we came back, is it did try to eat itself.
Yeah.
Like
It's the opposite. It threw everything up, and now it's all just out in the open, and you have to clean it yourself.
that. Hey, that sucks.
That really sucks. Everything was fine. Why are we doing this?
I feel like we have talked about this a million times, but
I don't know if it's been recorded yet.
people have to change things just because they got to, and they don't actually got to. They feel like they need to,
Yeah.
but they don't because it's fine the way it is. And I know you have to prove you need a job, guy who decided to change Apple Podcasts, but maybe you should have said, we're going to keep the good thing going.
Yeah.
Instead.
You can add features, but you don't have to completely rewrite it.
That is the wildest thing. It's like, I would like it to Twitter does the same thing. They're just like, hey, we made everything different. We wanted to add one thing, so we made everything different. Anyway, see you later. And after a while, everyone gets used to it, and then it's fine. But, I remember some of the times that it was easier to use Twitter. I also remember when Twitter was just like a nicer place to be, and the reason is because
Yeah.
there were less Nazis.
It came up on the Discord a little while ago. It was like, how did you use Twitter with 140 characters? And I feel like they changed to 280
Not that long ago.
not long after I like started using it a lot. But it was just like, it was a different place back then. It wasn't really used for conversation. It was just like, get a quick weird thought out.
Yeah, before they, I think it was like the threading feature and the 280 was when it was like, now this is a place for discourse, and I was like, oh, okay.
I don't use it like that mostly.
I try not to. Sometimes I get sucked into it because I'm only human. My favorite thing about Twitter right now is that I can talk about volleyball and not a single solitary person gives a crystal and it's really nice. I can just be like, hey, the U.S. men's team, not as good as the women's team. Not even close. They keep getting dunked on. And everyone's like, whatever, Jake. And that volleyball tweet just flies by and no one tells me how I'm wrong about my volleyball opinions or how I should be happy that I get to watch volleyball at all or whatever. Like,
Which clearly you are, because you're tweeting about it all the time.
I'm stoked. In 20 minutes, the U.S. men's team is playing the Netherlands, and I think they're going to get dunked on again because the men's team demonstrably worse than the women's team. I think the men's team just is not. They don't have Jordan Larson, and that's their big problem. Just let Jordan Larson play on the men's team, and you'll be fine.
It's so volleyball. That's not it.
Volleyball.
Volleyball seems like it's made to just be an intergender sport.
Yeah. So
what's the advantage? I guess like
height mostly.
statistically, men
Yeah.
are taller on average.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
average
have
height.
you seen volleyball players? They're all
yeah.
tall anyway.
Yeah, some of them are super super tall. I think the weird thing about volleyball, men's versus women's, is that the women's is much more varied in terms of like how you can play, like styles of play, like the combo attacks and like how you set things up. Much different than men, which most men's volleyball is hit ball hard as you can.
Right. Men are about force, and the women are about like placement and strategy.
Yeah, it's like the fundamentals are better. But like also then I say that, but then like I don't know his first name. It's his last name is Shoji. He's Eric Shoji's brother, who I didn't know Eric Shoji had a brother that also plays on the men's volleyball team. He did this cool move where he just kind of wiped the ball. He went to like set it, but instead people were going to block, and he just kind of wiped it across. And if the opponent's hands touch last and it goes out, then you get a point. And so he just basically tricked them into giving him a point, and it was pretty great. So I don't know. Volleyball's cool. VNLs are almost over. The last U.S. women's game. I mean, all of the women's game, because you do like 3 on, 3 off, switch between men and women's.
Mhm.
The last one is at 6 a.m. on my birthday, and I am considering waking up that early to watch it. They have replays. I could watch it whenever I get up, but I kind of want to watch it live. But it's at 6 a.m. and I haven't seen that in quite some time. So
Yeah.
anyway, we're also on Stitcher and Google Play. Pod Baby, and Pod Dog. Did we done Pod Dog yet?
I don't know if we've done Pod Dog.
Pod Dog. That man is a pod dog, and we'll get there,
Oh,
and you'll see
it's-
what we mean.
It's podcast, PAWD
Oh, it's
CAST.
and it's actually just recordings of dogs listening to podcasts.
Yes.
And you'd think it would be cute, but it's kind of, they don't get it.
No,
Podcasts are not for dogs.
They get that look on their face where they're like, treats?
This
Am I getting treat?
This could be treats. This could be treats. If you want to leave a rating review in any of those places, you can do that. Also on Patreon, patreon.com/Hey Jake and Josh. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show. And we really appreciate it. Speaking of, was it last week that we recorded the big
I think so.
everybody?
I think it was
So
last Monday. I don't know.
Not like the one we just had, but the last one?
Yeah.
I think it was last Thursday.
Maybe,
It was
I
recently.
don't
We
know.
recently did it. So I don't know if if these people are new, but they are the newest patrons that we have the email notifications from, that I don't remember saying their names.
Okay.
Because my memory is bad now because I'm old. So first up is Emily C.
Thank you, Emily.
and Clefarius.
Thank you, Clefarius.
I feel like I would have remembered saying Clefarius.
I think so. Emily
But-
C. Maybe there's another one. That sounds kind of familiar. but
This might be a double, but Clefarius seems new. Thank you to all our patrons. And also thank you to the 1 million Norton antivirus and other things saying that our subscription has gone through and it was paid, or that it wasn't paid and that we will be charged $400 for something. Good try, but you found the wrong podcast. Also, a lot of people asking you specifically,
Oh, me.
yeah, if you're looking for a website designer, which see feels like a neg to me.
Hey, you.
Because you designed the website. I feel like these are like mostly automated. Like, hey, you have a website. Let me send
this
it.
is
Yeah,
why 1&1 is affordable. Is because they
because
sell your information.
They sell your email to people who make websites.
These people bought a website. Have you seen it? They must need a website
Uh,
designer.
Like this one. This is
I think I
Reed.
made a very lovely tabled list. Thank you.
It looks nice. It looks great. It's easy to navigate, and that's what I like about websites.
Yeah.
Like this one is from Melissa, whose email seems like a real email, but we'll see. Hello, I am app development manager. I work
Ooh.
with 130 experienced IT professionals who are into paragraph break, electrician app, shopping app, transport app, cleaning app, radio station apps, and photography app, fitness app.
How many photography app do you have?
Well, it's photography app, fitness app.
Oh, it's all one?
That's all before the next comma. iPhone
I
and
see.
iPad apps, taxi app, Android apps. P.S. Interested? I will send you our price list, samples,
Why is that
example,
a
and
PS?
portfolio. It's before it's thanks and regards, and PS is before that. Maybe it just means Photoshop. Maybe she can also Photoshop.
Photoshop
Anyway,
app.
This is why 1&1 is affordable. Let's see. We got some emails from real people. From Lucas. Hey guys, I thought I would send you this in case you're interested. And it's an Amazon link to the Go Ranger manga. I think Go Ranger was like the first Power Rangers, I think.
I don't know. I thought that was like Jump Man. That's Mario.
No, that's Mario. That's Mario before he was had a job, right? I think.
Yeah, he was just a jump man.
He just jumped. He wasn't a plumber yet. He was a man who did jumps.
Maybe he was a construction worker because that was in Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I don't know.
He did wield a hammer and climb scaffolding.
That's true. And Donkey Kong did stomp on girders or whatever.
Yeah.
Are those called girders? Or is that just
like
a
a big
Pokemon's
steel
name?
girder?
Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
girder? Okay, it's not like a gird.
I think
and-
it's both. Yes, it is that and a
Okay.
Pokemon. Yeah.
Okay. We got a couple. So the problem with recording so far ahead is that people hear episode 1 or 2 and they send us information
Right.
that would be pertinent that people have already sent us.
Yes. So we are recording episode 8.
This is
today.
episode 8. So from Mike, hey Jake and Josh, it's Mike from Into the Grid. I just heard your first episode of SPD. I want to address the judgment mode, which I think somebody told us about, that like in Decker Ranger they send the question of is guilty to another planet who takes like 8 months to deliberate on it, but because of time dilation or whatever, it comes back in like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Someone has told us about that. I don't remember who. Mike's from the Into the Grid podcast.
What were they ranked? Were they on the list?
I think they were. They were not above us, but I don't know where they were. It's an honor just to be nominated, really. And but apparently they're also doing SPD right now because I think they started with Dino Thunder and then jumped to something else and jumped back to SPD, or they went from they just started Dino Thunder. Like, screw it, we're starting in the middle. And but Mike just says, P.S. We also hate Sky, so I'm glad you guys are not liking Sky as well. I'm coming around on Sky, but only because
I came around on him for 10 minutes of one episode so far.
and he's been kind of nothing since then. Like, he's just kind of like standard jerk a little bit, but he's not. At least he's not being like
he's a
I wouldn't
cop.
trust her because she's a girl. But he's just like one metric cop.
Yeah.
Also, from Nate, I'm sure you guys got sent this picture a lot by now, but I just wanted to hear your reaction to the fursuit that Doggy Kruger was in Japan. We have talked about that. I think we talked about it in episode 2. Oh, that's a cat. That is an insistent kitty cat.
That is my boy.
You talking about Doggy Kruger in there? You know I hate that guy.
Your dishes are full. I filled them up while you were sleeping.
I didn't see you do it though. It doesn't count. Yeah, so we have talked about Doggy Kruger. I think I've come around on the Doggy Kruger suit in the American one. I think I've come around on it.
It came up on the Discord how the fursuit from the Japanese version just kind of like
Doesn't do anything. Like,
it got gross and like isn't animated at all. And so
I recently
in the still picture that we've seen, design wise, I think I like that one better. But
Yeah, I haven't seen it in motion.
practicality is probably gonna be our doggy.
Yeah, recently I did find a lot of Beanie Babies that I had because I collected the crap out of Beanie Babies when
You
it
had
was.
a Doggy Kruger.
I
Beanie
did
Baby?
not, but I do have a lot of Beanie Babies that are a little gross now because
Yeah.
that's how stuffed things.
That's why
do.
you have to keep them in the plastic McDonald's bag that they come in.
I should have done that with some of them. Perf condition, mint condition on some of these Beanie Babies.
Man, how bored was everybody in the 90s?
There's an episode of, I don't remember what it was a podcast that Polygon did. I forget what it was called. It was like the history of toys or the history of games or something like that. They did an episode on Beanie Babies, and what a wild ride how Beanie Babies came to be is. I might be remembering this wrong, but I think it's like a Scientology pyramid scheme that is how it started. But I don't know how.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. It was basically like a cash grab thing, and then literally
You
like,
go door to door and be like, hey, would you like Beanie Babies
would you like a Beanie Baby? And they were
Beanie
like,
Babies calling.
and so, but like, it was weird because they were like the most popular thing in the world. Like, you could buy them and like, oh, this one's tag is a little different. You can sell that for $1,500. And then like overnight, everyone went, Beanie Babies are over now.
Yeah. Sorry that you have 5 big Sterilite cases full of Beanie Babies in your closet.
I have 2 full trash bags of Beanie
You
Babies
just
that I.
put them in the trash.
No, they're in trash bags for easy transport.
Well,
They're-
these are over.
They're in a store. No, they were in a toy box, and we were cleaning out me and Scoot's old room so they could get everything out of there, so they could like remodel it, and so Scoot could have a bedroom for, since there's no apartments in New Hampshire currently. And I was cleaning out the toy box, and I found a couple pieces of my Megazord. Found the 2 little wings from the pterodactyl, which was really nice. Found a Mastodon snoot. Still need to find the tusks. I have a lot of little pieces that are just missing from it because I got it when I was 5.
Yeah.
So you know how that goes. But I did get, there were so many Beanie Babies there, and I was like, I'm just going to put these in trash bags, and I'm going to keep them. And I'm going to go onto eBay and say, who want all these Beanie Babies?
Who wants
'Cause
a trash
someone's
bag
gotta.
of Beanie Babies?
Who wants a grab trash bag of Beanie Babies?
a grabbage bag.
A grabbage bag of Beanie Babies. Anyway, Patreon.com? What were we talking about?
I don't know. I made a Beanie Baby in middle school.
Did you like you sewed it together and you
Yeah, it was a
filled it
little
up with beans?
Dalmatian, and it came out awful. It has
It
a
looks
big
like a
hole in
monster.
it. You could see all the like dotted guidelines because I didn't sew it very well because I was like a 12-year-old boy and I
Right.
took whatever the equivalent of home ec was because it seemed like an easy elective, and somebody let 12 and 13-year-old kids pick their own classes.
Yeah, that was a weird call
So-
for 8th grade. I had a home ec class in 8th grade. I think I made boxers, and they were wearable.
But yeah, it was a little Dalmatian that leaked beanies.
It pooped out beanies. Oh no, we were talking about emails. That's what we were talking about. We were doing emails. That's the last email. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Mike, for the emails. Josh, would you like to jump into Sam Part 2?
You know, I would. I was gonna talk about how I have downloaded TikTok now, but I don't know if
you
we. I don't know
did.
if we've gotten into so many other things. I don't know if I want to get into how there's only 3 songs on TikTok and everyone makes the same video about them.
So the thing, yeah, okay, real quick, that will change rapidly. It will only be 3 songs at a time.
Because if I hear Into the Thick of It one more time, I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're-
throw my phone into the lake.
Josh, I hate to, if it's not Into the Thick of It, it's gonna be some Backyardigans song. They are hot. They are hot on TikTok. There's the International Super Spy. I don't know if you heard that one.
I've seen that one a couple times. Yeah.
There was Castaways. I know all of these children's songs from TikTok from hot people making videos about them.
There's a lot of good cat content, so
Yeah.
that's keeping me around. Ron Killings came up on my For You as I
Like
was
the
just
Truth?
scrolling through once. Yeah, our Truth himself. And it was so he's just standing there. The video is being shot by somebody else from inside of a car, and he's standing on the outside with his head on the window.
Sure.
And Jump Around starts playing. And
Uh-huh.
so when it gets to the part of the song, it's like, wah! He just
Yeah.
drags his head across the window to make the noise, and it was very funny.
I think Ron Killings maybe was born to do TikTok. It seems like. Just a quick recommendation from me, from your friend Jake, Eliza Petey. She did the Meteor TikTok
Yes,
that
yes.
everyone saw. Every one of her TikToks is absolute gold. She's so good. Easily the best TikTok follow.
And I keep looking at the bottom where it's like the make a TikTok button, and I'm like, I want to click it, but I don't. Like, if I do that, am I committed to having to make one, or can I just fuck around and see how it works?
You can fuck around and make one and then not post it.
Okay.
From what I understand,
Okay.
I don't know.
There's a lot of cat competition, but I kind of want to dip my toes in that pool because I got some boys in this house, and I would like to share them.
There are some boys in that house. I made the conscious decision to make my account private, and I don't make anything. TikTok is a place just for me. I don't need to try to make content on it like every other. I also don't really do that with Instagram, but like I post on
Also,
Instagram occasionally.
So there's the 3 songs that everyone makes the same video for, right?
Yep.
And then there's the other trend of like hold up your hand, and every time I say something you've done, you put
a finger down challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, and then those are all basically the same. And then there's like these songs are from the 80s, and you're like a baby, so you don't know them, right? And then there's like people. So the other half of TikTok is reaction videos,
Yes.
and that's very tough.
They're presented in a way that is better because the Zelda trailer dropped 2 days ago. The Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and I follow a lot of Zelda theorists, and they all did reaction videos. And I watched one and I was done. I was done with reaction videos for the year. I think
It's
one
like-
is enough. They are the worst. It is just you going, oh, and then because you're making a video for YouTube, you want it to get clicks, so you have to do big faces and
Yeah.
overreactions, and it sucks. And I hate them as
And
much as you do
that's
now.
half of TikTok, but it's a duet.
But sometimes I feel like it works better on TikTok. Anyway, let's talk about Sam, a kid who would
Yes.
have a TikTok.
Would he? I don't know. He'd
Let's
have
do-
he'd have one of those like angsty TikToks.
He's also like 9.
Where he's like, if you see me on your For You thing, be my friend, please.
Oh, those children. Thankfully, TikTok figured out that I am an adult. It's starting to think, just like every other thing, it's starting to think I'm a lesbian. I don't know what vibes I'm giving off. Instagram, like 2 minutes in, was like, you like My Hero Academia and you are a lesbian. And I was like, no, you're halfway there. I just find them relatable because I also don't know when women are flirting with me. So here we are. Anyway, we start off with a Preebs. Sammy,
I might have to go out there. We'll give
he
him a
wants to be
minute.
on TikTok. Dad, put me on TikTok. I heard you talking about it. I want to be TikTok famous. Turn me into content, Dad.
Yeah, I might have to have a baby just so I can make good content.
Right? That's
Tucker didn't like that. He was like, "No, you've got
No.
me."
what about me? So we started off with the previously on, which is just like recapping last episode. But then we come in right where we left off with Jack and Z getting destroyed, and Sam behind. And I forgot his name. I forgot the big guy's name. It's Bugglesworth.
Bugglesworth. Jake, I just looked at GarageBand. We're 40 minutes into the recording, and we're just starting the episode.
Yikes! Oops.
Oops, all berries.
Oops, all berries. So I forgot his name was Bugglesworth. I was gonna call him Buggle Sneezer because I thought that was close, but I wrote Bugglesworth enough times in my last notes that it knows the word Bugglesworth now, so it helped me out. And it was like, this is Bugglesworth. Bridge and the others jump in, but they're about to get like murdered by Orange Head. You remember Orange Head, classic villain.
Yeah.
His head's orange. Bridge shoots him with a laser from his motorcycle, and then the others show up and they like regroup. But at this time, Buggle Sneezer is like taking Sam away, and they're trying to like be like, Sam, no, don't go with him. And like he just like looks over his shoulder and does like a wobble 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 with his powers, and then Z, Jack, and Orange Head just disappear.
I have to go. I'll be right back.
Okay, are they?
he's scratching at the door.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how long it's gonna hold, but
I like you. Like, come on, boy, let's go look at your food. Let's just look at it.
He looked at it and then he went over to like the container that we keep it in, and then he rubbed on that, and I was like, Tucker, these bowls are full. I can't put more in these. And so
no more will fit.
So I picked him up and like put him in front of it, and he started eating. So I started to come back in, and he like ran after me.
Dad, watch me eat my food.
And I was like, Tucker, I cannot sit with you right now.
Oh, what a funny boy.
He's back. We're going to have to just do it. We're just going to
Okay.
power through it. I'm sorry. I love you.
So Jack and Z and Orange Head get teleported away.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, I think it's to like help, but it doesn't really, because it just puts them on a cliff somewhere, and Z is mostly off the cliff when they land.
Yeah.
And then Orange Head jumps in, they start attacking, and at some point there's more fighting, and Z's like, we need a new plan. This is not working because Orange Head, too much for us.
Yeah, and so Jack calls his motorcycle, and they ride off, and he's like, we got to find the others. And I was like, you don't even know where you are.
You gotta find you. You're in the Highlands of Scotland right now, it looks like.
You're on the set of Lord of the Rings, I think.
You're in Maine near a lighthouse. Like, what do you need to find out where New Tech City is in relation to you. Also, what is the range on Sam's power? This kid might be the most powerful person in the universe. If he can just teleport you wherever.
Because when it was introduced with the basketball, it was like, I take it from here and then I put it here. But now it's like, I take it from here and I can put it anywhere I want
away
to.
it
I don't
goes.
even have to see where it goes. I can just make it go there.
Unless he just looked off at the horizon and was like, there, but down.
Or dropped them in the sky because they fell in.
They did fall, yeah. So they drive away, and we cut up to the ship, and Mora is there with Sam, and Mora is punching her dolls, who are people.
Or people.
They're humans in there.
She's punching them across the room. One of them, she just whips it, and I think its arm flew off.
It definitely, part of it breaks off. The first one though, she like full on punches it in the upper torso head area with like, because her fist is about the size of she's a small girl, but her fist is, you know, a doll's torso sized.
Yeah.
And she just punches it square in the chest. It's like, oh, that's a person in there. Hope they're okay. So she's like, I'm bored with these dolls. And Sam's like, well, what dolls do you want? She's like, I want an SPD doll. And he's like, I don't know about that. And she's like, oh, please, I'll be your best friend.
Yeah, she's like, you can lure out the yellow one, and and Bumble Sneezer will make her a doll, and then I'll have it.
Then I'll have that. And she's like, and then she's like, oh, but I'll be your best friend. She like pleads with him. It's obviously fake, but
Right.
you know, he falls for it because he's a little kid who wants friends. So he's like, yeah, okay.
He wants friends, but like, not if they already have friends.
No. He wants new, bespoke.
I don't want to join a group of friends. I want to be a friend.
He doesn't want off the rack friends.
No.
So we cut back to HQ. Bridge is playing with the two dolls that are there. Again, those are people. Hopefully they can't tell what's going on. Hopefully they're in stasis, or else they're going to have a lot of weird things to talk about with a therapist. They come in. The other Rangers come in, and Bridge like stops and is like, oh, hey, you're back. What's up? And they're like kind of regrouping and talking about like what's going on. Jack's like, the orange head is super powerful. Like we could barely take that. And then Z says something about Sam. She's like, I still think Sam is the key to all this, and I still think we need to like find him and help him. And then they say something else, and then she's like, oh, this is so frustrating. And Sky's like, oh, what's wrong with you?
She's like, what's the point of having powers if I can't use them to help people? It's a good question.
It is a good question. And then he's like, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that. And then she's like, Sam just reminds me of me when I was a kid. And then we go into a flashback, and the flashback is of her as a kid.
This was odd to me.
The flashback or the content of it?
The content of it.
Oh, well, where a teacher seems to like accept and be okay with every other kid in the class yelling and berating
calling Z a freak because, as Z says, they could just tell she was different, while one of them is a big-headed green alien child.
There are legit aliens in the room, so it's not like there's we.
Also, we have to
have a timeline problem.
We have to throw the timeline in the trash.
Oh boy! Just a minute.
SPD is in a timeline by itself.
SPD is in its own. It's off to the side doing its own thing. So, because Z is probably, she looks about 8-ish here. This feels like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So, putting her at 21 now, that would be what, 13 years?
Yeah.
So 2025 minus 13 is 2012. So this is 2012, and there are aliens in the classroom, so they have already come in.
And it's normalized.
And it's totally fine. What's not fine is that Z is a freak somehow, and we're not sure why they know that about her.
Did she duplicate at recess once or something?
Yeah. But also, like, we know that in Power Rangers, aliens sometimes have these powers, they look like aliens, but also they can do things, or they look like people but they are aliens, but they can, like, Andros had telepathy, right?
Yeah,
so like, or not telepathy, telekinesis.
And Delphine had those weird fins on the side of her head and that stretchy gills. Neck.
Yeah. And Katie, she wasn't an alien, she was genetically engineered, but she was super strong, but that's, way in the future, so I guess it's not by then they're fine with it, I guess.
Right. You send her back in time, and she is kind of an alien.
Then, no, actually, because in the future, the mutants are the bad ones, and they are mutants, is what they are called. So maybe that's something, I don't know. But anyway, they're all being horrible to her, and the teacher's like, come up and do something on the board, while everyone yells at you and calls you a freak, and I am fine with it. Me, a teacher, someone who is supposed to at the very least keep order in this classroom. I will be doing that.
Get up here and do this long division, freak.
Yeah, you freak. You weirdo. So she's like, so then I did the only thing that I knew I could do, which is I duplicated myself. And since you can duplicate herself like away from her body, it's not like a split. It's like,
It's weird though, because what she does here is she duplicates so that Z Prime is outside.
yeah,
I always thought she had to project the duplicate.
I think she can, but I think she also can pick which one is the prime. I think she can shuffle them around once they are made, is what it seems like to me. But yeah,
I think you're right, because when she did this to Jack, I meant.
Now you're doing. I called him Zach in the first episode.
Z and Jack, it's a cute couple name for them.
That's their couple name, but they're friends. They're not dating.
She's done it to Jack, where she like replicated, and then the replicate like talked to him. But we were gonna see in this episode that the replicates cannot talk, so she must be able to just like bounce her consciousness between them.
Yeah. So she's like, I duplicated outside the door, and then I started running, and I just kept running, and I ran for as long as I could.
What's the range on a duplicate? How far did she get before the duplicate just poofed out?
I guess it's just forever. You made one until you take it back. Actually, we will see the range on a duplicate is space. You can get one up to space. We'll see. She's like, then I couldn't run anymore. I was out of breath. And then she's like, a weird creature attacked me, it's an alien. So calling it a creature is weird to me because like they're in like
you were just in class with one.
They're part of society now.
It looked like Piggy to me. It looked like not like Piggy, like it was the same guy, but almost like it could have been the same species.
I thought it looked more like one of the weird kind of green guys from the early episodes where like there's an alien. See,
right.
I don't remember.
Jack in a car.
Yeah, in that episode, yeah, it looked like one of that. But like I didn't get a good look at it because
and it's in a flashback filter, so it's like this weird fisheye underwater effect.
It's like fisheye. It's like yellowy and everything's like moving like side to side, like it's like a weird dream. So the creature attacked her, and she like tried to get away, and then it broke her necklace. And then a cloaked figure who had the spiral saber, so I'm like, oh, it's Andros, saved her.
Yes.
By just shooting this guy, it didn't kill. He just it was like a warning shot, and he ran out.
And she runs off, and the cloaked figure bends down and picks up her Z necklace.
And
which the Z on this necklace looks an awful lot like the top of Zed's staff.
It looks like Zed. It 100% looks like Zed. It kind of looks like a lightning bolt, which is kind of what the Z from the Zed's head looked like. But I thought at this moment, oh cool, we have a new seasonal mystery.
Yeah.
We're going to get a long-running mystery now.
Yeah, and then it comes out of the flashback, and she's like, I never did find out who that cloaked figure was.
Sid's like, that is the scariest story I've ever heard. And then they're like, yeah, did you find out who the cloaked figure was? She's like, no. And then just from like off-screen, we hear the man in the shadows was a dog.
He rips the cloak down. He's like, it was me, Z.
It was me all along. He was the Howard Power. It's Doggy. Doggy Kruger was the guy. The mystery was solved moments after it was presented.
Within 30 seconds.
So I, on the one hand, neat. On the other hand, could have let that marinate a tiny bit, maybe.
At least for the episode.
Right? But then he's like, no, so now it's time for me to tell you about your civilian powers. And I was like, okay.
I like that we're acknowledging that they are only when they are in their civilian form that they have these powers.
Morphin Grid interfere with civilian powers.
Yeah, you can't get them out of the suit.
Yeah, they just get stuck in there. They're going to bounce around. Who knows what's going to happen? So then Dougie Kruger says, and this is very confusing, but we're going to run with it. It makes enough sense. Your parents all worked for SPD before you were born. And Jack's like, that's not true. My parents were missionaries. And Sid's like, and my mom was a teacher and not an SPD officer. And he's like, no, we thought it would be good to lie to you until you were, conservative estimate, 18 to 21 years old.
Right.
And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah. So, and then we get a little flashback and it says, timestamp, 2001.
Uh-oh.
SPD is on Earth. SPD is here. You know who else is here? Kat Manx. Looking the damn same. We're going to find out a little bit about her in a minute. 2001 is when Time Force aired.
Yeah.
So
that's the time they came back to.
So let's try to...
Tucker.
Oh, he's going ham on that door.
He's knocking.
Let me in. Here's
Tucker,
Tucky.
Go lay down, please.
So I want to try to make this make sense.
It can only make sense if SPD is all that there is.
If there is only SPD, it makes sense. But so maybe
I might have to try to let him in, but I don't know if he would chill.
this is we're going into the Tucker verse on this one. So,
Sam 2 into the Tuckerverse.
so does maybe by Time Force coming back in time that did something? But there were no aliens in Time Force. They were mutants.
Time Force comes back in time, and that splits the timeline. So now you have the timeline that has Time Force in it, and then the one that's left without Time Force has SPD in it.
We're looking at an adult Link, child Link situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
SPD is cruising toward a future that has no Time Force.
Okay, so when you said the first thing I thought is that in the original timeline because the timeline goes for Jen, we'll just use Jen, right? Because
Sure.
she's in the future. She's a 3000. She's a year 3000er. She's a quadruple X
Not
millennial
much
or whatever.
has changed, but they're all underwater.
But they're all underwater, and your granddaughter looks great.
Your great great granddaughter.
Great,
She's
right.
doing fine.
Yeah, I would date her. I think is the moral of that story.
Yeah. I am dating her actually.
Hey, I'm your grandson. Hey, Pop, I'm your grandson.
Yeah, from my neighbor's couch time machine. Look, the Jonas Brothers are crazy.
Look, so Jen lives in the year 3000. Not much has changed with living alone, but they don't do that. So the timeline goes up to Jen,
Yeah.
right? Maybe that's the SPD timeline.
So Jen is Link.
Jen is Link, and she ruins everything. So in Jen's timeline, in Jen's like original timeline, SPD started in 2001, and then by 2025 it was like a whole thing, and then like that kept going until the year 3000, where Time Force is just Time Force, right?
Sure.
She goes back in time, and doing that,
that's the Terminator timeline.
yeah, and then in going back in time, she makes the rest of the Power Rangers timeline that SPD is not on. It is on this kind of side one.
Yeah, it's like a little branch.
That was like her original timeline, but by her coming back, all of SPD or Time Force coming back,
It diverts it.
They changed things.
Yeah, it's like a rock in the river, and the river has to split around it.
Yeah, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
It can't make sense.
So then Doggy says that your parents, and we see like one of each of their parents, and they're all like in like lab outfits. So they're not cops, they're scientists.
Yeah. And they all have like color-coded t-shirts on.
They have like gym vests on.
Yeah, and Doggy's like, they created the powers that are contained in your morphers alongside Dr. Manx.
Dr. Manx. So
Which,
first of all,
this came up on the Discord not that long ago. That was like a shout out to all the female Power Ranger characters that were not allowed to get their doctor. And I almost said add Cat Manx to the list, and I would have been wrong.
But she's a doctor. Finally, some justice. Now, if only we could retroactively get someone to call her Dr. Fairweather besides us.
Right.
Because that woman worked too damn hard for you to call her Miss.
Besides us and the Pod Squad.
And the Pod, yes, because the Pod Squad's cool. So yeah, they made the morphers led by Dr. Cat Manx. She like turns aside. There she is.
It looks exactly the same. And
the same.
This was 24 years ago.
And we come out of the flashback, and Jack's like, "You mean her mom?" And he's like, "No, I mean Dr. Cat Manx."
Yeah, she's so old, you guys. I wouldn't even understand.
And Jack's like, but she's like 25, maybe, which is what we put her at. I think in the last episode.
I think so, yeah.
And he's like, no, she's 147 years old. She looks great.
It's cat years, man.
It keeps you young.
Yeah,
I guess.
Well, only 1 year passes for her every 7 years. It's a reverse cat year.
She's an inverse cat. That makes sense. So then we go back in the flashback, and I maybe was reeling from the fact that Cat is a gilf. And
if you divide 147 by 7, she's only 21.
So see, so that makes sense.
She's 21 in inverse cat years.
In cat, whatever her species, whatever her race is. So we get like a flashback where like something happened, but Cat was an alien, so she was unaffected. But all of your parents were affected.
Yeah, they mixed the wrong stuff, and then the chemicals got them.
They got chemical X'd, and then they didn't get superpowers, but they passed them down. Is that what the moral of that story was?
I don't know,
because he didn't really.
Because Sid does say like, I always thought my mom was kind of weird, so like something happened. Like the parents did get affected.
So this is just more questions because,
but it's very unclear how.
So this means that this happened. That they were like, oh no, something happened to us. Then they all went and had kids around the same time, except Jack's parents quit SPD to become missionaries. Sid's mom became a teacher. We don't know about her dad. Sky's dad stayed on. He was the Red Ranger. We see Bridge's dad, I'm assuming, because it looks kind of like Bridge, and he's got a green vest on.
Yeah.
Maybe he stayed, because those three were already in SPD, so maybe it was like a family thing. But Jack's parents left. And then I guess Z's parents ditched her, because she specifically says she is from the streets, which is kids TV code for an orphan.
Yeah, right.
So,
or like I actually committed to running away.
Yeah, like I ran away and kept doing it. And like I hope we get some more answers about this, because you telling me that they got powers from a oopsie doodle when they were making SPD doesn't answer a lot. It asks more questions than I think you thought it was gonna answer. So then they say like, oh, so Sam is like that too? He's like, yeah, Sam's the last one. So his parents were like, we're gonna wait. We're not ready for kids. Or his dad or mom or whoever was in SPD was like, I'm gonna wait about 13 more years, maybe more. Then Kat comes in and she's like, also, real quick, if you don't get the dolls back to people, they're going to be stuck as dolls in soon, like very soon.
You've got a couple hours, and these people are dolls forever.
Yeah. So like, okay, let's go look for Sam. Maybe he can help. Also, we should look for Sam anyway. So they all kind of split up. Some of them go to the beach because that's where they teleported the building to. So maybe they thought we'll start there.
Yeah. I don't know how you we need to find one kid who's running away. Like he doesn't have a home that we know of to go check.
Yeah.
We have to search this entire city / landmass for one child that can move things wherever he wants them.
Also, last we saw him, he was leaving with the aliens to go to the alien spaceship. So
last we saw him, he was on the alien spaceship.
So they're just like, we're gonna go there and yell for Sam, which is a pretty common name, all things considered.
Except for Sid, she's gonna call for Samuel.
Does she call him Samuel?
When she's like yelling in a cave, she's like, Samuel.
Samuel. Okay.
Which is fitting because I kept calling her Sydney for the first 3 episodes.
So, yeah. So Z's in the regular city. She's in her street clothes. She's like looking for Sam. She's like, Sam. She walks by a thing. Sam teleports in, like behind a car, and then he comes out and she's like, oh, Sam. She runs up and she hugs him. She's like, thank God you're safe. I don't know if they say anything before Cindy Sunshine shows up.
He's like, why aren't you in your cop clothes?
Oh, and she's like, because I'm normal.
Yeah,
like
I
you
just
are.
wanted you to see that I'm like a person.
I'm also a person. And then Cindy Sunshine shows up and is like, she lies, and she's like, they don't like you, they're lying, and then Bugglesworth shows up too, and he's there, and I forget what they're like, come with us because they're the cops, and you don't want to go with them, and they're lying to you, and blah blah blah. And then Z's like, if you really think that they're your friends, I'm not going to stop you. Do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this little flashback montage of all the times Z was nice to him, and how maybe that is better than actively manipulating by being like, I'll be your friend if you do this thing for me. Not a good way to make friends, typically. And then we come out and she's like, you're my friend. You'll be my friend. And she's like, I'm already your friend. And then they hug again. And then Bugglesworth's like, all right, I'm going to attack. Or I guess Cindy's like, attack.
Sydney Sunshine's like, I'm going to throw up.
Friendship is gross.
Yeah. Ew.
Bugglesworth killer. So they attack. There's a pretty cool fight. There's a lot of it's like in an alley, so it's like kind of enclosed, and it's pretty well done. he tries to help. Sam tries to help, but he gets like blasted at. And then when that happens, Z like gets thrown off her guard because she's like, Sam, no. And then Z gets turned into a doll. And then Sam runs away because she's like, Sam, run. And then turned into a doll. And then we cut up to the ship where Mora, not Mara, that's on the Fallen Gods. Mora has a Z doll wearing her like future shirt.
Yeah, the black shirt with just some yellow rectangles on it.
There's just some asymmetric yellow. I think the shirt looks cool. I would probably wear it myself, but I don't know where you can find it. I got 4 more years before I can find one, I guess. And she's like, "Ooh, I got an SPD." And then Dr. Skellybones comes in and he's like, "Give me that," and takes it from her. He's like, "This is mine because it's SPD Ranger." And she's like, "No, give it back." And he's like, "No, I'm in charge." And they start like,
I'm the dad.
They start bickering at each other. And then the doll just disappears. It just is like, whoop, gone. And she's like, you lost it. Ha, ha, ha. And then he screams at her and she like does like a little kid, like high pitched yelp, like I was startled, and then runs away. And then we cut back to Sam running through the city. He's under like a bridge somewhere. He's on like under an overpass. And he bumps into Z. He's like, and she's in her cop outfit now. And he's like, "I thought you were turned into a doll." And she's like, "Yeah, that was a double. I when they turned around to look at you, I threw a me out to let you get away, and they turned into a doll. And then I just made that go away, so they don't have it anymore."
Yes, and I had enough time to get changed into my cop outfit before I came to find you.
Yep. Also, this is the range of how far can a double go is to space. So it's pretty far.
Like, there's no limit to this. This is such an OP power that Z has.
And I think she can only comfortably make 3 at a time, but that's still enough.
Yeah, because she's outnumbered. I don't know if this is coming up. I think
it's about to happen. I think. Yeah,
she gets outnumbered, and I think she makes 2 copies to fight with.
Yeah, so there's 3 of her. We've seen her with 3 copies when they were putting clothes into a truck in like the second episode. Yeah. I think it was 3.
But she did also threaten to make like 157 copies to wash windows.
Right. So they just didn't have the budget to get that many wigs. They only have 3 versions of the cop outfit. The yellow one, I think, is the thing.
Is Dekka yellow a girl?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was trying to like pinpoint how to like figure out which footage we're in, and I was like, well, if it's a boy, then it would be the Sentai. But then I was like, I think it's just a girl in that one though.
It's this year it's a little trick. It's maybe the trickiest it's been so far because like every year they get a little bit better, but I think it still has like a slightly like softer but grainier look.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Like, it's still shot on film, kind of.
Yeah.
Whereas the American stuff is digital now, I think.
I think maybe that might be it. If it's not digital yet, it will be pretty soon. Because 2005, 2006 is when that started popping off. But I think Taylor is the last, like, gender bent Ranger where it's like it's a boy in the Sentai and a girl in here. Up until, I know the actress's name, Tessa Rao, who she play on Dino Fury. The green one. I do not remember. I do not know her character's name at all. Izzy?
Izzy, yes. It is Izzy.
So from 2002 until 2021, they didn't do that anymore.
It's just a 1-to-1.
Yeah. So look forward to that. And that might get weird when there is like only one girl on the teams a lot, which is going to happen a couple times at least. So he apologized. She's like, "I get it. When I was your age, I didn't have friends either. But like, you know, you get older, things change. You find friends. Great power, great responsibility. That right. Whole thing, basically." And then she's like, "Now I need you to tell me how to get people back from being dolls." And it's like, "Oh, it's Bugglesworth. If you get him, everyone will turn back." And like, I could have told you that.
Yeah, he's like,
because I've seen Power Rangers before.
If you capture him, then they will all go back.
So
wink.
Wink. And they're like, "Oh, awesome." But then Orange Head shows up. He had to run from Maine to get here.
I kind of love this. I want there to be a season where there's like this Orange Head-esque like nemesis enemy that like they can get away from, and they can like the Rangers have like teleportation and stuff, but this guy can't. And just so like
So he
every
just
couple
walks,
of
yeah.
every couple episodes they're like fighting a monster, and he just rounds a corner, and they're like, oh crap,
You want
Orangehead
the
is here.
You want SAX, but a Power Ranger villain.
Yes.
You want the PRX. That would be rad. So he shows up with some crybabies. Sam and Z start running. She like calls for help, or I think she calls to tell. They're like, "Oh, it's Bugglesworth." But they start running, and Doggy. We cut back to Doggy, who's like, "Everybody, here are Delgado's coordinates. She needs help." So they start running. They get cornered, like fully surrounded. This is only 13 minutes into the episode. I thought we were just about done. We go to commercial. We come back, and he goes to. She tells Sam to run. She's like, get away, run. So he starts running, and then Bugglesworth goes to like take his staff and turn her into a doll, and it disappears. And then Sam comes back around from the corner with the staff, and he's like, "You're not making anybody else a doll." And he smashes it on the ground, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
This also
it's all
gives
like circuitry and stuff inside.
yeah.
I was like, oh, he's breaking like the magic staff, and that's gonna free all the dolls. But no, it's just like.
It's a computer.
It's a device that can turn people into dolls. It's a very specialized computer.
Yeah, which I guess it makes sense in a way because like magic and technology, like any sufficiently advanced technology, looks like magic. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
But like on Power Rangers, you either have a magic season or a not magic season, and it would be weird if they were like, "This is a not magic season." He does have a magic staff.
This is firmly a not magic season.
Yeah, this
they
is about
they don't even
civil
grow the
servants.
monsters. They give them big robots.
Yeah, they don't even grow. They get into robots. Like so, it would be weird if he's like, "I do have a magic staff, though." By the way,
Right? Yeah.
But then again, Mara kind of has a magic sketchbook, so like,
But she's like
we don't know what's
a
up with
demon.
her. I think maybe she used to be a doll, and
I think you popped the top off of this thing.
because that's the only thing I can think that makes sense is to like what I think because it was last episode where Grum's like, "I'll turn you back into what you were when I found you," and so that's either
Just
like a
just a
frog
Gross
or a
doll with 2 hairs and and one eye.
Is she? Do you think she's Cindy Sunshine? Do you think
I
she's
don't
like
know.
this?
I think maybe she's like the Raggedy Andy too, Cindy Sunshine's Raggedy Ann.
No, maybe. I'm excited to find out because I don't know anything about Mora, and I would like to. So this gives Sam smashes the thing. This gives Z time to multiply, and then she does a fight with her multiples. It's also pretty cool. It's in like a multi-story warehouse. There's some cool wire work. The numbers game are still not on her side. She should maybe do, I would say, 30 more duplicates if I were her.
If she has the ability to, absolutely she should go 1-to-1.
Yeah, but she does not.
If not, go 2-to-1.
Yeah, why not? Keep going. Just make so many of you that you literally physically crush all of the crybabies in the space that you have. But she doesn't do that. So there's a part where she gets like knocked down, and
she gets up again.
You're never gonna keep her down. Orangehead goes to like kill her, and then he gets blasted, and then the other Rangers come in, and we get this weird little kind of jokey bit where he's like, "Z, do you need help?" And she doesn't say anything and like runs away, and then another Z comes in from the other side. He's like, "Do you need help?" And then she doesn't say anything and goes away, and then like from the front, Z backs up into him, and he's like, "Do you need help?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, let's morph," and then they morph. And it does seem like the multiples can't talk, but we know they can. But maybe in this season they're just like too occupied in this scene.
Well, that's what I think, like, because we haven't heard her like talk to herself or anything. We've only heard a voice come out of one of them at a time.
Right.
Which
so
is why
maybe she has to bounce around.
And
yeah.
where she's in a fight, she's too concentrated on that to like throw her mind into another one or whatever.
That makes sense. So they morph. They do a fight. Sid has these little washers, like, you know, little washers you put between bolts and screws.
But they're bombs.
They're bombs. She throws them and they blow some stuff up.
Yeah, I don't even remember. She says, like, this is a firecracker or something. It's like not even a joke, and she just throws these little, like, screws out.
Z puts a bunch of crybabies in like a bubble
What
with
the
her
hell was this?
with her gun. I guess their weapons just have like extra powers that they haven't talked about
she's
yet.
like, I hope you like being in confined spaces, and traps them in this bubble, and just like they just bounce around in there until she implodes it on itself. And I guess they're dead now.
They died. They're robots, so they just shut down.
Right.
They're broken. And then Jack. So also, Orange Head summons up one of the like X head crybabies. It's like 2 Saturn rings floating around its head. So Jack and that crybaby have like a shootout. They're like doing Max Payne dive shooting at each other for a while, and eventually Jack wins. And then they all like get outside, and Orange Head's there, and he's the only one left. And he does his like attack animation again, where he like swipes the ground and it makes a big shockwave, and they get hit by it. And this is not gonna help. They're not gonna learn from this, and they're gonna get hit by it again. They're not even gonna try to dodge it. So then they do a or maybe this is when they get hit by it again, because I got hit by it earlier or something. I forget.
I don't remember.
Because they call it the Canine Cannon, and then they do that like back and forth like push laser.
Right. The Dragon Ball Z power clash.
Where he's shooting a shockwave, and they're shooting the Canine Cannon, and then eventually they win, and it blows up Orange Head.
They're starting to like Orange Head is pushing them like almost all the way back, and he's like, yeah. And then Jack's just like, more power, guys, and they're like, okay, and then it's stronger now, and it kills him.
I don't remember who it was. There was a comedian a very long time ago, like early 2000s, that I saw on Comedy Central Presents or like Premium Blend or one of those shows. And he said, I get that Superman can fly, and I'm on board with that. But I don't know how Superman can fly faster.
He just wants to.
He's like, what do you... He's like, ugh, and then like you go hard, and like that's exactly what this is. He's like, put in more power, and they're like, okay, so you weren't going full bore against the guy that was handily beating your ass already? Seems like a weird thing to do to me. And he dies and blows up, and then Bugglesworth is in the robot, and he's like, now you gotta deal with me in the robot. And then he's like, it's Zord time.
Yeah, and then we get Kat in her control room by herself. What's going on with Kat? Why is she always filming in a room by herself?
She's weirdly like also she's the head scientist, but also dispatched. It seems like, and that's weird. Like you need to hire someone else to do that.
So she's like, "All right, I'll send your Zords out, but you've got 2 minutes to kill this guy, or all the people are stuck as dolls."
It's literally like you have a couple minutes. So they and they'll harden forever or whatever, and then we cut to the Megazord fight in the rain, which is pretty neat. The rain is clearly like an effect, but
yeah, I don't know why. Like, I'm curious what the reason, if there's a reason for the rain in the like source material.
It's cooler
because this, if the past has taught me anything, this should eclipse the Megazord, I believe.
It should. Well, maybe they don't run on. It's a gas power. It runs on diesel now.
This one runs on diesel. Big Daddy Cool.
Are we still gonna have? Do you think we'll still have enough gas in 2025 to run a Megazord?
No,
probably not. So they do a fight. It's a pretty cool fight too. It's not one of those like 1 minute boring fights. There's a lot of stuff happening, and it's kind of cool.
I know I've said like I don't love CG Zord fights, and I mostly stand by that. But I do like that it allows a quick, evasive Megazord.
Yeah, because this one's like dodging and diving.
He's doing
like
tumbles and like rolling behind. He's like Neil Patrick Harris in a laser tag audition.
And they eventually are like he blows up Bugglesworth blows up a park or whatever, and they pop up from behind the explosion with their sword, and they like do a sword attack, and that wounds him enough so they can judge him, and he is judged guilty.
Tucker, we're almost done, okay? I miss you too, but it's gonna be a few more minutes.
He's like, you never record this late.
I always record this late.
I know.
It's the same time.
They're like, you're guilty, and you're found guilty of stealing buildings, turning people into dolls, and child endangerment. And then they put him in a card.
When they scan him from inside the Megazord, Jack's just like, let's see if you're guilty. And I was like, of what? Jack, you have to accuse him of something.
Let's see if you're guilty of what he knows.
It's not until after they say yes, he is, that they tell him what he's guilty of.
He's arrested and then charged.
That feels like illegal.
That definitely is breaking laws, plural, like several of them. Also, they never read him his Miranda rights, which I feel like
alternate timeline.
Oh, you're right. No more Miranda rights at this time.
They're space police, so like it's different for them.
Different. They don't have a Miranda in space.
No.
Well,
in Mass Effect, I think they actually do have a
Miranda. There's Miranda. She's in the second one. There's also probably plenty of Mirandas. That's a name you don't really hear a lot anymore, huh?
No.
When I was a kid, there was a girl that was younger than me that went to the same babysitter I went to, and her name was Miranda, and that's a weird name for a young person. But I guess at some point, everyone like you had to be,
right?
Like a young Edgar is weird,
right? Or like a young Ethel, like a baby Ethel.
You don't get born Ethel anymore.
No way.
You don't do it. Unless you're like hipster, like I named my baby Ethel.
I went to school with a girl named Ruth.
That's because I have a great aunt named Ruth, and that's a great aunt name.
Yeah, that's like a grandparent name.
Yeah, so it's weird. Anyway, so he gets turned into a card. Everyone starts disappearing. We cut up to the ship. The dolls start disappearing and presumably going back into the building, which hopefully is then moved. Because if you'll recall, that was Sam. That was not Bogglesworth. So they're just in a cockeyed building on the beach now. But Mora screams. We cut to HQ where the two people that were dolls down there turn into people, and they're like so relieved. They hug, and then Boop's like and then he sees that they're just turned back to people, and they're hugging, and he goes to hug Kat. She just puts her hand on his chest like, no,
she's absolutely not.
Do not do that.
And he's like, yes, we are working,
professionally working.
He's like reading a newspaper.
Yeah, he's just at her weird desk, like her front desk. It's like a reception desk, but again, she is the head scientist and has been for 24 years minimum.
Also, these two people that just spawned back out of dolls are looking around like, where the heck are we and how did we get here? And Kat and Boom are just like going on with their day and not even acknowledging it or like filling these people in on what happened.
I also feel like they definitely know that they were dolls or that something scary happened to them because they hug each other out of like relief. Like, oh, thank God we're back.
Oh, God, we can move again. And that weird guy's not trying to make us kiss anymore.
Oh, and that's him right there next to us. And also, someone's going to remember that a little girl punched them straight in the neck.
You think when they come back, they feel it all at once? It's just like, oh.
That would be, I mean, at least as long as it's not proportional, like you don't feel like a giant fist hit your body.
Right,
it's like, oh, it's just a regular little girl punch. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm okay.
Just be like, ow.
Ow. It was my neck, so it hurts more than it should, but it could be worse. So then we go to commercial, we come back, and the SPD Rangers are all around Sam, who's in a little SPD cadet outfit. And they got him a bike. This seems strange, but I get it. They're like, "Hey, you're welcome." Like it's like a joining like present.
We're your friends. We got you a present.
We got you a bike, yeah. And I don't know. It's a little strange, but I kind of like it.
See, Sam, friends give each other stuff.
They don't just take from each other. So then some cadets come in. He's like, yeah, it's good that we're friends, but you are all old and weird. And they're like, hey. He's like, I'm just kidding.
Some more old weird people come in and they're like, hey, come on, Sam. And he's like, hey, that's my peeps.
Those are my peeps. They're not as old. They're cadets too, but they're not as old. The girl who says like, come on, Sam, is the girl who gave Jack the tray of like strawberries
the close
and cream.
Quarters training.
The personal private one-on-one close quarters training. And he's like, I go, my peeps are waiting. So then they go and they're like, cool. And then as he leaves, Sid's like, I'm not old. And Jack's like, no, you're just weird. And that's the end of the episode. Josh, you started.
Mm-hmm.
I get to pick the first best. I'm going to say it is... What is the best? What is the best? The best for me today, this episode, the best is I genuinely don't know.
It's that really good part.
I know it was that one thing that was better than the other things in the episode. I kind of want to give it to the flashback where they like explain like your parents were in SPD, but I also don't want to give it to that because I have a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the best is the Megazord fight.
The Megazord fight is pretty good. I think the best is the God, I don't know. I started coming in saying the Z copy fight, but I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of. I think it's the one. I think they're fighting
The one in the alleyway,
Head, and it's the one with all like the wire work and stuff.
They were morphed for that. They
Yeah.
only fought him morphed. So if they were unmorphed, the only other fight she had was in the alley.
Maybe
I think
it wasn't that. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. I think, and I'm just gonna give it to like Z being good friends to a kid, like, and a kid who is clearly in trouble and in danger and like needs someone to like be there for him, and she is doing that. That is the best.
Yeah, when he's like, "Are you like you're gonna be my friend?" and she's like, "I am." Like,
Yeah,
I already am your friend. Like, I'm not gonna make you prove it to me. Like,
yeah.
I do like that a lot. I also think this isn't my best, but I do want to bring it up that the storytelling has been very good.
Yeah.
Like the writing has been very good. And also I don't feel like any of the characters have really been lost.
No,
I feel like we get enough
true.
of everybody. Sid is maybe the one that we need some more. We need a spotlight for her pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, definitely, because we got like half a one with the dog episode. We kind of like, she was kind of the focal of that, but
I think we just need some more backstory for her. But she's not like, I'm wrapping up, buddy.
We're trying, Tucky. We're trying.
You scratch the door, it takes longer. I just feel like she's the one we know the least about, but not that she's like, oh, where's Sid been? She hasn't been doing anything because she's right in the thick of it every time.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I really like that it's like a 5-ranger team and it's a 5-ranger team.
And they're all like getting time. Yeah.
No one is more important than the other.
I think the worst is the timeline.
That's pretty bad.
I think what do you mean, y'all? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. They obviously have no regard for
that's true.
Their own lore.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't worst it then because they don't care.
Yeah, I think the worst for me, I don't know. I do want to mention that we did see Sam on the spaceship talking to Mora, which I think was really weird that he was just chilling there.
Well, because he left with Bugglesworth and Cindy, and then they went up there.
Yeah, but then like, if you're like, why do you have to talk to me through a doll? Why can't you come down to Earth and play with me?
Maybe should have.
He's not asking
flags.
any questions. He's just like, oh, what kind of dolls do you like?
Okay, he's just so desperate for friends.
I might as well be on a spaceship with a big Scully Dr. Bones out there and a big fish tank cloak man.
Yeah, that is pretty weird, huh?
We didn't even see him meet Mora.
That's true. He knows, and she sounds just like Cindy Sunshine, and then later on she's Cindy Sunshine again, not Mora. So
yeah,
I think I'm actually going to worst that.
I think that's my worst now that I've talked it out.
I think you've talked me into it. Yeah, because the timeline is stupid, but like I think we figured out a solution that makes enough sense for me to be okay with it. And also, they were just doing their Mighty Morphin thing where they're just saying stuff. They don't care. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about the season after or before. They're just saying some stuff right now.
Yeah. I mean, it does mean something within the context of this show. And I feel like Mighty Morphin didn't even do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But in the context of Power Rangers as a whole, it's just not connected to anything, even though I'm sure there's a crossover episode later.
I mean,
we'll have to try to make sense of that when it happens. But until then, it's completely separate.
Yeah, it's just its own thing. MVP, I want to say Sam. Joke answer is it's Kat for looking so good at 147, but real answer,
good for her.
She looks amazing.
Pilates really pulling through.
Yeah. I think the real answer is Sam is MVP.
I was gonna say Sam too. I thought about Z, but then I think Sam did more to deserve it this time.
Yeah. So that now we got to rank the episodes. This two-parter. I'm just gonna shoot my shot. I think number one.
I think it's number one.
I think it's. I
I
think
don't even think I have to look. I'm gonna, but I don't think I have to.
number one is Dogged or Dogged, which was the episode where Sid made friends with the robot dog and Bridge brought it back to life. That was just a solid episode. But I think this is number one. I think this is better than that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, because like I don't think it's worse than Dogged.
No.
And like you said, the storytelling was really solid in these last two episodes. They felt long and they felt like there was a lot of false finishes, but that didn't make it worse.
Right. It wasn't like an Island of Illusion long.
Right, where there's an even chance that we're still on that couch at my house at my apartment in Austin, at my first apartment in Austin, watching
Oh God.
that, and we just died, Liz. So there's that.
I can't believe we used to record out of those apartments.
We recorded in the Shat and at my apartment, which was facing 100 children screaming and running around.
Wild.
Yep. Anyway, that's it. That's gonna do it for us for today. Next time.
Oh, I didn't see it on the disc because that was the end of disc one.
Yeah. Oh, it's not letting me scroll. Next episode is called Idol.
Ooh. Here comes Kelly Clarkson.
Here she comes. We'll talk about that on Monday. But until then, may
the power protect you.
SPD emergency!
I'm recording.
Now I'm recording. The record button makes record, not just selecting the program. And I have to get to date.
Check.
I'm just
That
now.
looks like a little tiny stupid baby.
Stupid little
check.
kid.
No, now it's way too big. Check. Okay,
That's a big
there
dumb
we go.
kid.